This was my first time trying a guided journal. So I bought the Thought Log, which is a guided journal developed by psychologists in the cognitive behavioral therapy school. And at first I'm like, okay, let's just try it. And it has proved to be so much more than I thought it would be. At first, it was kind of interesting to learn the concepts in CBT, which is they examine an event and your emotions, and then it challenges you to think the way you have thought, does it have any cognitive distortions? Distortions are things like mind reading, catastrophizing, minimizing the negative, the positive, things like that. Ways that I might think that is destructive, that makes me unhappy. And then it asks you to write down how I can think differently. So on my very first entry, I started with something very small. Small as in the emotions involved were not very strong. So on an intensity of 1 to 10, there were twos and threes. And I have already kind of went through this event in my mind. So with completing the event in the journal, I was able to put specific vocabulary, like specific cognitive distortions that I was having in my thinking to the event. And in the how to think differently section, I was basically repeating what I have already sort of figured out on my own. So I thought, okay, this is helpful. It gave me vocabulary to name things, but I could have figured out how to think more positively all by myself too. And then on the second entry, things started to get real because I was recording an event where emotions are higher. So it was an unhappy event that happened while I was fangirling. So I was in the fandom, I was consuming online content, and something made me unhappy. And one of the emotions was a six, while the others were threes. And with this one, it felt really challenging because I felt like I was forced to face how I was thinking, and I was forced to change how I was thinking. And I was forced to realize some of the ways I was thinking was not working in my favor, admitting those things. I had left a comment on this guided journal that it felt like a really good workout at the end of the journal entry. And I was like, great, I'm looking forward to continuing to journal. And then on my third journal entry, I had no idea it was going to get more intense. Because on the third entry, it was over something that I felt like happened a lot in my life, but this time it was issues with family. And there were similar issues I've had all my life. Surprisingly, all the feelings involved were really strong. I had only sixes and sevens. This time, not only did it feel challenging to force myself to recognize the distortions I had in my thinking, I was recognizing emotions I was feeling during the process that I was not aware of that I had. So for emotions, I recorded frustrated, regretful, resentful. So these were anger emotions, and one of them was a sadness emotion. But while I was looking at what cognitive distortions I had in my thinking, I realized that one of the main emotions I had was actually fear. I was afraid of something, and that was what caused me to do a series of things that made me unhappy. That was kind of intense. I was like, oh, being able to correctly identifying that one of the emotions was fear then really helped me think of a way to think differently, to actually make my mind more clear and make me more happy and feeling better and feeling like I have a real plan on what to change. So I'm really impressed by this. I've spoken to a therapist before and it did not feel like this. People are saying this journal cannot replace therapy, but I feel like so far this journal has helped me more and has enlightened me more than the one therapy appointment, not one appointment, the one experience of a sessions of appointments I've had with a therapist.